Welcome back to the show. I'm your host, Katie Romagnolo. Thank you for joining me live. If you are catching this on the replay, let me know in the comments how this is sitting with you because, wow, we've got a big shift of energy going on this week. And I have been getting so many private messages about what is going on. I'm focusing on the right things. I'm having a lot of chaos going on. And there's actually a reason. And sometimes this can really feel like, what on earth? Why is it that I'm taking maybe all of the inspired action that I'm feeling really aligned to do? Why is it that everything that I could have planned for to go right doesn't seem to really be aligning? I have experienced this in many big ways in my life. And every single time it has been in preparation for something that I didn't realize that I needed that was highly connected into what the actual goals were that I was trying to create within my life. So, this particular period that we are about to transition into is what I call the gray zone. And if you are listening today, there is no coincidence that you are hearing this message. Whether you are catching this right when we are going live during this week of transitional energy, or you're catching this at another time, weeks, days, years later, this is timeless information. So I want to position you to think about this in the way where whatever you're hearing today, what resonates with you at the point in which you're hearing it is meant for you. So, if you have no idea what moon phase we are currently sitting within, and you're like, what the heck is going on with this moon phase? Why do I need to know? Then go ahead and check out in the description the free moon calendar that walks you through some of the details. You get a free calendar every single month so that you know what energy we're sitting in, what the heck I'm talking about, and really start to connect those intuitive dots for yourself so you know when to take action, when to trust the process of what's going on, and when to make adjustments. We're speaking into the adjustments this week because likely if you have experienced any kind of breakdown last week, so that might have been communication on something that you were working on, could be in a work sense, could be in a personal sense, maybe with a partner or within family or friend dynamics. Maybe it was grocery shopping. If you're finding that there was something funky last week or even today or in these next couple of days, there's some information there for you. So, how do you tap into what are you actually being prepared for? This is an amazing energy to look through the curtain. Okay. So, when we think about our main moon phases are always about the new moon, the full moon phase. There's a lot of hype around them. A lot of people tend to be able to Google some information and figure out the key details there. But what you can't Google is the gray zone. This is in between your main information. It's a huge chunk of how we function, not only as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, as a partner, as a mother, as a father, as a sister or brother, whatever your current phase of life is, there's a lot of information we need between. So when you're reading over a document, we often think about, okay, get into the details. What's in the fine print? This is your week for looking at, oh my goodness, I almost missed the fine print. So, really honing your energy into the things that might have been missed, because these are where the adjustments are going to all of a sudden pop off the page, or so to say, for you in terms of what you're working on. So, last week we experienced this fullness of energy, whatever you've been working on. Now, this is not only intentionally and in your waking state, this is also very much so in your subconscious. So, if you've been planting seeds, if you've been thinking about something that you really want to create, or you've been thinking about something you don't want to experience in your life, maybe you've been worried about something that you just, I don't want that to happen again, or I can see some little things in my life that seem like a cycle is coming around. Why am I experiencing this again? How do I stop this? What has been happening is the energy of that has sort of been seeding your experience. And when we think about our neurology on this, when we start to think about something, not only does it energetically start to absorb within your experience, but we can think about this logically. Where if something is on your mind, it kind of becomes impossible for this beautiful human mind that we have to stop searching for it. It activates this part of us that says, I am looking for this thing. Now, be careful about subconscious energy here, because when you're thinking about the things that you don't want, especially during the last 2 weeks of what I would call a momentum phase, what you are perhaps maybe unintentionally doing is looking for ways for that to actually become part of your experience. It's impossible if I were to say to you today, do not think about a purple elephant. What are you thinking about? Are you seeing the purple elephant? Are you thinking about, oh, purple elephant? I used to have that stuffy when I was little, that little teddy bear that actually was a purple elephant. You're going to call to mind the things that relate to what I said not to focus on. The mind doesn't oftentimes hear the not. The universe doesn't hear the not. They just hear the thing that you are focusing on. Your own neurology tends to find the thing that you are focusing on. So, this particular week can make a lot of sense sometimes for people if they realize that they've been focusing or just having challenges that have been coming up in life in the last 2 weeks. And all of a sudden, it's like this state of what is going on. So, here's where information is happening for you. This is never about something outside of yourself directing your life. And I am not in control of things. And oh my goodness, the moon is directing my life. No, this is about tapping into your own unique natural cycle, your own unique way of interpreting and understanding and digesting information as you're moving through your earthly experience. So, oftentimes, when we want something really bad, we start to think about all the ways that we can create it by doing. And the doing itself can become a little bit counterproductive to what we actually want because sometimes it's not on our timeline. And what I mean by that is maybe the thing that you want, there's a couple of things that need to happen in sequence in order for it to be achieved. Maybe you are creating a new offering in your business. You've got a coaching program that you're creating. And in order for you to actually put that program out to the world and attract in these amazing clients who need that service, there's certain steps that need to be completed first. And sometimes we get, as entrepreneurs, I definitely am guilty of this. I get really excited about something that I know that, oh my goodness, this is going to be amazing. I've got some amazing feedback on little bits that I've been, seeding out to people, and I'm excited about moving it forward. So sometimes we are actually waiting energetically for the right people, places, timing, resources to align naturally for us. And we can't tell that's going on behind the scenes. All we can feel is I'm pushing to do this thing. I'm trying really hard to do this thing because I'm excited about it. It's not in a bad energy, but it's actually creating resistance because if you're finding that there's challenges one after another that are popping up, communication breakdowns, things like that, then there's something that you're meant to look at to adjust. So, this is where I want to hone your energy into what adjustments are required this week because we are in the process of closing out a major cycle. And this particular week is all about what are the things that you didn't know that you needed to know in order to create what you want. So, a fantastic exercise that I always suggest doing during this time frame, if you're in the magic school or you're working one-on-one with me as a client through business coaching, is really a very logical process that tends to pull things up from the subconscious as well, align you through the energy that's supporting you in doing this task, and give some really good feedback on what do you need to adjust. And that's on a single piece of paper. You're going to look at on one side what's working. And I want you to think back over the last 3 weeks. What's been working in your life? What's working in your relationships? What are you feeling really good about? Where did you have some results? Where did you have something that felt easy to do? It was like, oh, I thought that would be harder. Write those things down. Where did you have really great days? Maybe it was a good conversation. Maybe it was something that seemed to resolve. Whatever it is that comes to mind, take this week to write down. Carry a notepad with you or do this as a note in your phone, anything that you're going to have handy with you, because thoughts will pop up during this week to say, okay, what was really working? Chart them down, just point form. And then you're going to go to the other side of the page here or the other side of your note, and you're going to list out what is not working. And sometimes these things are a little bit easier to come to mind because it's like, oh my goodness, like I know that didn't work. I felt that in my heart. That was a crappy scenario. I don't want to experience that again. And we know the things oftentimes a lot quicker what's not working. I want you to really focus on the 3 weeks ahead of where we are today, regardless of when you are actually watching this video and hearing this information. Take this as your own unique natural cycle. Don't focus on the whole big picture of life, what was not working. We're going to zoom into micro natural cycles here for you, because it's the best way to actually move you forward quicker is to get laser focused rather than being super broad. So, what's not working? What hasn't been working? What didn't feel good? What was the breakdown in communication? And list out all of these things. The secondary step that you're going to do to this is you're going to look for the actual pieces that need to change. So, once you're done that, you're going to look through and you're going to say specifically on the side here where the things are not working out. And you're going to look between the lines. This is the gray zone, right? This is the time period in which those things are going to pop off the page, the fine print that you need to pay attention to. Oftentimes, we're so focused on the big picture, the next thing we need to do, and it becomes a little difficult to be present in the moment. This is a way to ground you present in the moment to see what adjustments are required. What are you being prepared for? Something really great is coming in the next cycle. But in order to actually reach out and grab it and to have it and to receive it into your experience, maybe there's something that isn't working that actually has to go in order for that space to be maintained for something else. Right? Sometimes these are people in our lives. And sometimes people are with us for a season. This is Lisa Nichols that I originally heard this with, and just talking about how sometimes the people that you're walking with in your life and your business and your personal relationships, they're meant to be with you for a season. You were highly aligned at some certain time in your point of life. Maybe it was something that you bonded with because you actually had some similar pain points and you understood each other. You were able to work together or have a great relationship in some fashion. Maybe you were meant to provide something to that person on their journey at that time, and they're now meant to learn something else and grow and provide it to somebody else. We never know what's really going on behind the scenes. Number one, in someone else's heart, in someone else's mind, in someone else's physical experience. And sometimes we ourselves don't even know what's going on in our own hearts and minds and physical experience. So, this is the time period to gain perspective, to really zone out, get a further view back, and to see things from a broader angle, but to get focused on the things that you can be in control of changing. Because when we're trying to figure out why something is going on in our life that's connected to something that we can't control, maybe that thing that is a challenge or a struggle point or an argument, a disagreement, something that's coming up that feels like, why is this happening to me? It's the time where you're being highly supported in figuring out, what does this have to do with you? Remove the other person from the situation. We are only ever in control of how we respond. And sometimes it's not even about controlling our feelings. We need to feel what we feel. We need to process and allow for whatever's going on energetically to come forward. Because when we suppress the things that are going on and we don't allow our physical body to experience it, then it comes out in different ways. It's never just gone. When we compartmentalize and keep things stored inside, it doesn't say, okay, yeah, that's never there. What it does instead is it becomes a pain in the neck. It becomes that pain in the back. It becomes that migraine that happens every time you got to deal with something that might be connected to a similar type of feeling. So, this time period is all about watching for, what is the body doing? Where am I being guided to say there's information here in specifically the area of how to let go, how to adjust, how to look at the things that are not working. So, on your list there of the things that are not working in life this week, over the last couple of weeks, right? Not the whole scheme of life, narrowing into the last couple of weeks. What was your particular role? Was there a pattern that came up that you've had to deal with before? Regardless of how big or small these things might be, there's information there. And the more that we can actually allow people to transition in their own lives, maybe again, it's that person being with us for a season and walking with us because we really highly resonate with who they are in that moment. And then as we grow and shift and change and move into whatever direction is calling you most, where your highest purpose in life is connected to, maybe that person is meant to be connected to somebody else at this time. Or maybe you're meant to move on from something because you're meant to experience something else. So there's a lot of wisdom in challenges. And it's not to say we want challenges, it's not to say your life has to be full of challenges. It's just this human experience tends to come along with challenges. We learn things when we move through difficult phases, and it doesn't have to be that you're attracting difficult things into your life. It's more about what are the things that are showing up as you're working through your personal, your professional development, so that that awareness only has to happen once. Cycles are all about the thing that we didn't get the first time. Sometimes there's layers of something else that we need to receive or understand or let go of or connect with or integrate. And it comes up in different layers, more than one way. Or sometimes, if it feels like the exact same thing is going on again and it's not something that you want to be going on again, maybe it's like the same kind of breakdown of communication or argument or really tough thing that goes on even in a romantic relationship. Where has this happened before? How did this impact you in your life? And what does this really have to do with you? Is this something that needs to be resolved so that you can move forward to do the thing that you really want to do? Because you're meant to have the things that you want. What you want is also seeking you, but we find it difficult to change. And I don't know if there's any human being who doesn't have some kind of little bit of a thing when it comes to changing. We all do this in our own way. So, getting good at changing, getting good at cycling, getting good at understanding where you're being called to make adjustments in your life is the highest way to serve not only yourself, to create confidence and trust in how you're going to move through life, but also in how to build authentic relationships for you as you move into different areas of your life and business. So, if you are watching today, thank you so much for joining me. I'm here live every single Tuesday at 12 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Go ahead and hit subscribe. I am constantly answering questions from our listeners. If you're watching us here on YouTube, thank you so much for interacting with me in the comments. Go ahead and hit the bell so you do not miss any future uploads or live videos here. And if you're listening to us on one of our other podcast platforms, we are also on Apple and Google and Spotify and a whole bunch of other places. Thank you for tuning in. Go ahead and check out the resources that are in the description here. Our free moon calendar is an amazing resource that allows you to really start to understand, what do I do? What don't I do? Where is the focus this week? And mantras as well to help really solidify those action steps or those releasing phases so that this becomes second nature to you, that you feel that you can trust your decisions. It's not about somebody else telling you what to do. You are able to create a way to guide your own life, to navigate how you're feeling, how you're thinking, where your progress is happening, where there might be some adjustments required by following these phases. So, thank you for being here on this journey with me. And thank you for everybody that tunes in live every week. I appreciate you all so very much. And I'll go ahead and see you next time. Have an amazing week.